Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bold You, a show that is dedicated to inspiring every person out there that's watching to play bigger in your life. And to play bigger in your life, you got to think bigger, and we're going to help you think bigger with our guests that come on each week. We want to help inspire you to be bolder. And that means you are going to have to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to do things that you just really don't want to do because you're scared to do them. You don't think you can do them, but I promise you that you can. And we're going to give you that help that you need so you can become the best version of you. I believe that we live in a world where there is a war between good and evil, and the only way evil wins is when good people like you, like me, like our guests, like our friends and family, when we just don't do enough. So we are going to play bigger in our lives, and I'm so excited because in 2020 is just right around the corner. It's going to be a tremendous year. We want to help you reach and exceed all your goals and potential that you have within you. So each week we've got an incredible guest that is going to share their journey, also going to share their area of expertise and help us play bigger in our lives. And this week we are so excited to have an incredible person join us. Her name is Suzanne Johns. She is a new home expert, and she's really just she's an amazing person. I'll tell you that much. So Suzanne, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad I'm amazing.
She is amazing. Just wait and see. So before we jump into talking about really what you do and how you can help our viewers, just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and, maybe how we met.
Oh, gosh.
Put you on the spot there.
Exactly. You didn't give me that one before I got here. Who I am, I started in real estate 42 years ago, so been a while. And I've worked every side of the real estate business that you possibly build, from building it to selling it, to commercial, residential, you name it. We have been on that side of the coin from standpoint of real estate. So I enjoy it. It's what we do. I've never worked a day in my life. Don't intend to start. And I don't expect to retire, because the day I do, that'll be the day I die. So, I'll be selling real estate to little old ladies and their, blue-haired ladies in their wheelchairs and their walkers, if that's what it takes.
One of the things I think is so interesting about your story, and I think that I think people need to hear these kind of things, is you didn't go to college thinking, hey, I'm going to go and be a real estate agent. That's not how you stumbled into real estate. So share with people how you got involved.
I was in college to be a teacher. My mom and dad expected me to be a teacher. I have a teaching degree, and my sister's a teacher, my mother's a teacher, my grandmother's a teacher, and on and on and on. And I was in my senior year, and my last semester of my senior year, and a friend of mine asked me if I would like to go to a real estate seminar with her. And I went, no. No one in my family had ever even been around real estate, so nobody knew what it was. I was like, what's real estate? So she said, well, I tell you what, we're going to go to the bar afterwards, and there's a bunch of boys you wanted to meet that are going to be at the seminar going to the bar, and so if you come with me, you can meet them. And I went, oh, okay, I'll do that. That sounds like a plan. So I went with her to the seminar, and it was like a 4-hour deal. And 2 hours in, it started resonating with me. I'm like, wow, this sounds really cool. I would like to do this. I'd like to know more information about it. And so after the seminar was over, I asked the instructor, what do you do to get involved? And he said, well, you got to get a real estate license. And I went, oh, crap. Okay, how do you do that? And he said, well, you got to take some classes. And I said, well, I'm good at doing that. So, of course, I went to my mom and dad and said, Mom, I'd like to take some classes and I need a little money. And they went, no.
They said, heck no, we just paid
No.
for your college.
So went and got a second job for myself and made the money to take my real estate classes. And I went to class, took my exam, and I passed it the first time, which that was really nice. And then I went back to the instructor and I said, now I've got this handy dandy license. What do I do with it? And he said, well, you need to sell something.
Right.
I went, yeah, right. How do you do that? So he said, well, I've got a lady here in town that can help you and she can mentor you. And so I said, I would be great. And so she set me up in her office. And, her idea of mentoring was to hand me a phone book, which back in the day, we had phone books. We didn't have our phones because that was our computers. So he handed me a phone book and a telephone and said, start making some phone calls. And luckily, some gentlemen walked in the door and said they'd like to look at some apartments. And I was like, well, I don't know where those are either, but okay. So I ran back and asked the broker, I said, what do I do? And she said, here's 3 that are for sale, go show them these. And one of them happened to be an apartment complex that I lived in there on campus. And so I knew all the maintenance staff, I knew the management staff, and I knew everybody that lived there. So when we went there, I was able to have the maintenance guys talk about everything that was going on with the project. And the management staff told me all about the leasing and where they were as far as vacancy. And then I had a bunch of my friends open up doors and let them look at the different units. And then we went back to the office, and, I didn't know to ask for the sale.
Right.
Who does that, right? So I shook their hand and wished them well and, see ya. Hope you had a nice time. And went back and sat down at my desk, and about 20 minutes later they came back in and said, we really liked that one that you showed us last. Could we buy that? And I went, oh, sure. Why not? What do I do now? So I ran over to the title company and I asked them, I said, can you help me with a contract because I've never written one? And they said, sure, bring them on in. So they wrote the contract for my first sale.
Well, so that story and why I think it's so important to share is because there's so many things that you did right in that story and you didn't even know it. Number one, you were open to the idea that your friend said, hey, come with me to this real estate seminar. So many times we get asked to do things and we immediately say no. You got to be open. So I love it that you were open. Number two, I love it that you like to have fun, because if you didn't like to have fun, you wouldn't have been as open, right?
That's right.
So saying yes, and success happens in action. And you just went in action. You felt that you liked something, and then you acted upon that feeling. And then when the real estate instructor said, go get your real estate license, you acted. And that is one thing that successful people do. And it's one thing that you do all the time, which is why you said you'll never stop working. And I won't ever stop working either. I don't care. I will be right there by you doing whatever it is we've got to do, because first and foremost, there's so much we have within us. And we're supposed to give, we're supposed to do. And that's why like attracts like. And when you start thinking bigger and you start acting bigger, you start associating with people that do bigger things, which really leads me to my Ask Jen's question, because it goes along perfectly with our topic today. And we're going to jump into our topic. What are some things I can do to be more financially stable? I'm just going to repeat that again because I'm slurring my words here. What are some things I can do to be more financially stable? Now, to me, the most common answer is to spend less and to earn more money. But let me tell you, to me, the most important thing is to surround yourself with people that know money. And Suzanne, you are one of those people that just know money. And one of the things that you can do is get involved in real estate. For most people, your biggest asset is your homestead. And there's more that you can do, but I'm telling you, let's talk about new home construction, because I've just recently experienced it, and I want to hear from Suzanne, who is a new home construction expert. Really, What's the power play that you can make with new home construction these days?
Well, I don't know that I don't know how your experience went. I know that you had a realtor that worked with you. One of the things that you're looking for when you go into a new home, a home builder has a sales office. And the first thing they're wanting you to do is to sign in, register. And unfortunately, the one thing you don't know as a consumer is as soon as you register, you now have signed away all of your rights. So you now have no longer got the right to bring in someone that can help you with the transaction. The other thing you don't know when you walk in, and everybody loves to go through those new homes because they're all so pretty and they're all decorated so perfect, and they look like HGTV, and it took only $20 to do that, right?
Right.
Everything that's there in that house is not what's included regularly in the price.
Oh,
That's
right.
all additional. So that's something else that you have to learn how to negotiate, or the person that is representing you negotiates that. So that's something that you look for. The other thing that, like you guys found, was an Energy Star rated house. And that really helps because that means they've done a lot with the insulation. They have changed how the windows are done and what windows they use, whether or not you've got better insulation in your ceilings and attics, everything, and some insulation. You may have insulation between your walls in your house, in the rooms in your house as well. I'm not sure, but
Right.
probably you do. And that helps with bringing down your electrical costs. And I don't know about you guys, but here in Texas, we have some pretty high electrical
Oh, yeah.
costs in a house that's even 10 years old. So when you think that, oh, I have a brand new house, I bought it 10 years ago, things were so much different. Look at how much the internet has changed just in a year or 2 years. That's exactly what's going on with building products as well.
Right. That I'm going to say this. Everybody that knows me well knows that I start planning my upcoming year in October. In September, I do my financial health. I do the plan to review financially. And one of the things that I said in 2020 was I wanted to be at a particular place. And, when you set an intention out in the world and you start working towards that intention, lo and behold, you're going to achieve that intention. Well, one of that was obviously around finances. And I was not looking to buy a new home. Believe me,
Right.
that was not even on my radar.
No.
But when my husband said, Jens, let's go look at new homes, and I want you to compare the cost of just the electricity alone.
Right.
Because the homes now are built more energy
Efficient.
efficient. And let me tell you, to your point, our home prior was a 13-year-old home, and we were spending $600-700 a month easily on electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went into these newer homes, these model homes were $150 a month, $250 a month on
Right.
on electricity.
And the electric bill their electric is on all the time.
Yes.
Because they're open 7 days a week.
So, to me, when we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
being smart with your money, I mean, listen, if you haven't thought, and I had thought about getting into a new home, but if you haven't thought about getting into a new home, that is a very viable option for you to do that will make a tremendous positive impact on everything else you do financially. And one of the questions I want to ask you, because you started to mention some reasons, but I know there's probably many more. Why is it important to have somebody that is an expert in new home construction represent you during this process?
Not everybody is going to afford that high-end custom builder, the guy that really, really has it going on and knows what he's doing. You're going to walk in and you're going to more than likely purchase or want to be able to afford to purchase the middle-of-the-road guy. The middle-of-the-road guy doesn't necessarily mean that he is building to a certain standard every single time. Production is production, and we are humans. And that's, it just so happens that things happen.
Listen, there's so many things involved that
Oh,
there's no
absolutely.
way a layperson, there's no way if
No.
you don't know what's going on that you could do it. I mean, the realtor that we had represent us is an expert in new home construction. And when listen, you're working with new home construction, you need to have somebody that knows what they're doing. Because to your point, I think you even have you've got a couple really great videos that you're doing that I think would shine some light on people, even if you don't think that you want a new home, you can affordably get into a new
Oh,
home.
absolutely.
And there's different ways that you can do that.
Right.
So let's watch a couple of these videos, and then
Give
I
me
want
just
you
a
to.
second to get it set up.
Okay, all right, yeah,
Oh,
Ziggy.
okay.
Yeah, we'll get that set up. But what I want to know is another thing for you to answer while we're waiting here is, I mean, what are some things people should know about new home construction before even going to look?
You really need to do a little research on the builder itself. If you're going into a certain community and there's usually three or four production builders. That's what they're called, because they build mass quantities, and they have certain amount of floor plans that they'll do 6 of this one, 6 of this one, 6 of this one, and that's how that becomes a mass quantity. And they just sprinkle on a different facade, which is the exterior of the house. So they'll have different facades, usually 3 to 4 for each particular model, so that they look a little bit different, and that's what's been approved through the city. But one of the things you want to look for is a little bit of research about that particular builder. And then I have no problem with walking with folks through a house first in a neighborhood to see if that builder is one of the ones. I think the longer video that you didn't get,
Right.
that shows 2 different builders, and one of them in particular does some things that makes it look like he's the better builder, but he's not. And I know how to point that out so that you can say, oh, okay, this guy does this that has it's going to give me better lasting ability for that
I mean,
house
like,
to have value.
what are some of those things?
Well, one is plate line, and
Okay.
that means how tall your ceilings are.
Okay,
So if they take up a plate line to a 10-foot versus an 11-foot or a 12-foot, it gives volume. And you think, oh, volume means must be bigger, must be better.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean that's the case, but that's how he makes his house look like it's a bigger, more custom estate.
Right.
And then if he changes the pitch on the roof, so if the roof now becomes an 8 versus a 12, or a 12 versus an 8, that means that the roof is either a little bit flatter or a whole lot steeper.
Right.
And so that also gives it the appearance
Right.
of being a more custom home, whereas it's not.
right.
So you just have to look at
I
what's
love it. But
behind the walls.
Okay, so let's look at these videos because I love some points that you're making.
Hey, this is Suzanne Johns, new home construction expert here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I just wanted to give you an idea of some of the things that happen here that you don't see in a lot of places. We have wonderful areas close to downtown Dallas, but they're older homes. A lot of people don't want to be in those older homes, or they don't want to take the time to renovate those older homes. So what they do instead, see if I can turn the camera around for you. See this vacant lot here? This lot here, with gorgeous trees, is in the middle of an area what's called downtown or uptown Dallas. And you have older homes that are here that people don't want to renovate, and they're all ranches. They're going to be 1 stories, and they all have usually an 8-foot plate line. And then over next to it, you're going to see a really nice big house. See that one over there? That somebody's already done the same thing that's over here, scraped the lot, bulldozed the house, hauled it off, and now it's ready for a new home to be built on it. If you would like to have something like that here in Dallas, I definitely can hook you up with the right builder and put that into motion for you. So get a hold of me. I'm Suzanne Johns, new home construction expert here in Dallas-Fort Worth. SJ@homehunterexpert.com. Thanks.
Okay, so I love that video because basically what you're saying is you can go and have a brand new home in
Anywhere.
any neighborhood.
Any neighborhood.
But tell everybody what's the expense and how do you go about doing that?
That's when we find an older home that is priced a little bit less, just because they're trying to, probably somebody's died or everybody's moved away and the kids don't want to come back and they don't want to have the issue of trying to sell the house themselves. So they're just trying to dump the house.
Right.
You're not going to get a steal on it, but those that were in North Dallas, you can still pick those up for about $600,000, which basically it's going to cost you another $50,000 to bulldoze that house and haul off, maybe another $25,000 to haul off the it's more than likely got some asbestos in it and things like that, so that you're going to have to take care of that. But about $675 for a lot in downtown or close to downtown, that's not a bad deal.
Right.
And then you can build your house however you want. The one that I pointed out that was the white one across the way, that house probably cost maybe $900,000.
Right.
So for $1.5 million to $1.7 million, they got a really nice house that's on Royal Lane, 10 minutes from downtown.
Right. And if that's what you're looking for, you know,
Right.
I think a lot of times when people are contemplating new home construction, they are going to the areas that are brand new subdivisions.
Right.
And I will tell you, we love new home construction. You know, that's really all I've lived in for the most part, is new home construction. One time I lived in a house that was pre-owned, but obviously you see that, but you see, okay, I could go into this neighborhood, but you think, oh my gosh, that's so much trouble. You're the type of person that, no, you would go and sit down with your client and say, listen, what do you want? Where do you want to be? And you would go do all that research.
That's right.
And that makes
Yeah.
it really.
And they're all over the place, especially off of, we call it the Triangle Corridor, which is off of Royal. It's between Highway 75 and Midway Road, going up to downtown from 635. So if you're looking in that general area, I know how to find the lots, and those are the ones that are going to have your older homes that are the 8-foot plate lines. They've been there since 1960, and they're ready to be bulldozed.
Right.
Somebody has already moved on, probably gone to an assisted living place or passed away, and the kids have it. So now it needs to be gone, and they just want the cash. So that's the way you get those.
All right. Now, I know one thing that our realtor did for us was really help negotiate.
Right.
And when you are looking at a brand new home, I mean, how much negotiation room do you really have?
It just depends, and I try to look for the ones that are already under construction versus the ones that are getting ready to start.
Okay.
The ones that are getting ready to start, they don't have to negotiate on because they got no hold money involved, which is their interim financing.
Okay, I got you.
But once it's already under construction, interim financing clock has started ticking.
Okay.
So now they've got a reason why they need for that house to be gone.
Okay, so that's really good information.
That's where you have the chance to negotiate. So if now we are in 3 months into the process and they don't have any offers on it, say, well, I'll tell you what, if we can get maybe 7,000 off or 10,000 off, or if I can get all of these extras that I want in that price, then that's something we'd like to negotiate in, and we structure that in the contract.
Well, so that would be really great information to know if you are even contemplating, or maybe you just are like, you know what, these two ladies, I think maybe they know what they're talking about. Believe me, she really does. But I just recently experienced it. The best thing to do would be, I'm saying even if you don't even think you want to get a new home, but you want to be in a different place financially, I'm telling you, this is such a viable option to get with someone beforehand.
Oh, absolutely.
Play with the numbers, go look at neighborhoods, and when you start putting numbers down on paper, which is exactly what my husband did to me, you know, he was like, Jen, you got all these lofty goals. Jen, you want to do this. Jen, you want to do that. We want to get a mountain home. We want to work smarter and not harder. We want to spend more time with one another. You know, you're looking at your financial situation. When he got me out, and I'm going to say this, because, for you, you're so in tune with money, and you have been. I think people that are in real estate in general just understand the importance of flipping property, and all property is an investment.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, all property is an investment. And I think, when you're in the real estate world, you look at things like that, where the normal everyday Joe and Jill, so to speak, we don't think of it in that manner.
Right.
But when you sit down and we started putting the numbers down on paper, I mean, it was like, well, this is just too good to pass up. So at that point, before you even get your heart set on anything, is really when you should go and talk to someone like you.
True. That's true. And I walk so many houses every day for the most part that I know what builders are out there and what they're doing and where they're at. And then I'm also, because I'm pretty prevalent in the market, they know who I am. So the better ones really do try to cater to me and bring in a little bit better offerings, because they know that I'm going to come back again and again and again. And that's what they really are hoping. And that's why they do that.
Oh yeah. And because you have been in the industry so long, and you've been in this area, and like you said, they know you. They know and you know the great builders as well.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
So again, it's taking time and energy off somebody else's plate. All you got to do is be open to it, like you were at the very beginning to go to the real estate. But I want to talk about too is, when you're looking at these homes, and what you're saying is, okay, don't even really go look at the model homes. Don't sit down with someone like you first, and then I think we've got a video of you walking some properties, because what you would do is you would walk some properties first, and
Oh,
really.
absolutely. I do that all the time with one of our members for the mastermind with Deb.
Right.
She was considering new home construction, and I told her, I said, it doesn't matter to us. We met her on a Sunday. I said, I'll be happy to walk it with you. And we can point out what's going on and where things are. And it was a good builder, not a problem with that. There were some things that we would have tweaked, which easily could be fixed, if she was going to be able to, if she was moving forward. But I have no problem doing that at any time, so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about, instead of going, I wonder what that means. Not a problem. I'll point it out.
No, and that's one of the things that I love about you is you've got so much information, and you are so liberal with sharing that information, because listen, we don't have time. We don't have time. Let's watch that second video, because this is really what you do.
Hey, this is Suzanne Johns, new home construction expert. I thought I would walk a job site with you guys just for a few seconds. One of the things in new construction, they haven't done their fire blocking here yet, but that's the blocking that goes here in between the studs, for obviously to stop a fire when it's starting. Not that it's going to stop it completely, but it'll help. They are doing something right in here. They're doing 2x6s for their plumbing, so that you have more room for the pipes, and you don't have the studs trimmed down so far that they don't have the capability of withstanding weight. Got pretty good sized rooms in this one. They don't have anything marked off for their plumbing. They have all their plumbing, it looks like, rich in. Got their obviously that red line is the hot water, and there's your cold water, so they have it on the right sides. You want to look for that. What I don't see in here is the pest control line that a lot of the builders put in. So maybe that's not something this builder does. It's a really nice little feature. So you want to use it if they do it, it's something you want. There's their clean outs for plumbing. It's another one of the bathrooms here. Got some nice high ceilings that really gives you volume. So I'm thinking here you've got at least, let's see, that's an 8-foot door, so that's going to be close to a 14-foot ceiling. That's really nice. Got a little bitty patio. So these are condos, townhomes, and they're just getting started. The guys are working on the exterior today, it looks like. None of the skin is up yet, which is your exterior facade. Everything's blocked off for the patios above you. These look like 1-story level units. So they should be nice little condos. Not going to be, I think it looks like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So not for a big family, but definitely gives you something to work with to start. These are here in off of Inwood and North Dallas. The kitchen's a little smaller than I'd like to see, and the pantry's definitely smaller than I'd like to see. But you do have a nice little area here for a kitchen table. This right here is going to be your area for the kitchen table. There's some good windows on this side. Your patio door's over there at the master, it looks like. Anyway, I thought I would just walk a little bit here, give you some information. And if you'd like more details, this is Suzanne Johns, the new home construction expert. SJ@homehunterexpert.com. Anytime. Thanks.
Let's talk about that termite line.
Okay. One of the things you want to also have, a lot of the newer home builders are using what's called a pest control line. And it's a little green, it's a little bitty green PVC line that's put through the studs where your pest control guy can put some, it's a liquid that goes into it, and it keeps the termites out of the walls for as long as you have the guy out there, forever.
I want to know, do I have that? I want to know, do I have the pest control line?
The time to know when you've got the pest control line, number one, you can ask your builder. They should be able to tell you. But secondly, you can see it at the stud stage. So as soon as you walk the house, it'll be in there. As soon as they put in their plumbing lines, the pest control line goes in the same time.
Well, and here's one of the things that we were talking about is there's so many details that go into building a new home that if you are not an expert in new home construction, there's no way in the world you're going to know all this information. And I'm going to tell you that it's overload. They provide you a lot of information, but you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what to ask.
No.
And when you're walking the property, because listen, most builders are great about.
They're really good at double talking gibberish.
Well, but what I'm saying is they're great about explaining, but you don't know. You don't know what they're saying
what they
to
said.
you.
Yeah, you have no idea what
it's
they
like,
just said.
when you go to the doctor, you go to the hospital and they're speaking all this jargon and you're like, okay, yes.
That's great.
And you signed the paper and you just gave away your left kidney right there. You just have no idea. But to me, and I know I keep screaming this, Suzanne, and I am so just determined to help people be financially stable and financially abundant. And real estate is so important. So that's one of the reasons why I keep saying, if you've got financial goals, number one, look at new home construction as a viable option. Number two, find a new home construction expert like Suzanne, who knows all this information. It's incredible. And just have a conversation, look at the numbers, see what that change will do, because I promise you it will lower your monthly cost. And then just like you did at the very beginning when you told your story, do what they tell you to do.
Exactly.
Do what they tell you to do. So if you've got somebody that is saying, you know what, this might be a viable option for me, or I just want to investigate it. What are some ways that they can get in contact with you?
Well, I definitely can call me at any time, but SJ@homehunterexpert.com. That's number one. My phone number 972-639-6396. And I'm happy, like I said, to walk a house with you at any time, with you, your husband, your children, your father, your mother. It doesn't matter. I'm happy to walk it and explain whatever it is you would like to know, whether or not this is something you would like to entertain or whether or not it's not something for you. Not everybody is going to be.
I know.
That
That's
new
what I
home
was going to
buyer.
ask you is What just makes you so passionate about new home construction?
My husband and I built for 15 years in South Lake and Colleyville, and I just love it. It's just one of those things where you get to see something start and come to fruition, and you get to see so many happy people at the very end. That's what's the coolest thing, is to just have that feeling of joy, to see them so excited about that new thing. It's just like buying a new car. It has that new home smell. You get that new car smell, same thing. I just love that.
Well, I will say that it's been an amazing experience for us. I know some people say, oh gosh, I would never build a house, or I built a house and I would never do it again. I strongly disagree. I think it was amazing.
yeah.
We learned so much. We had a great person, Lisa Tate, and I'm trying to get Lisa Tate on the show because she's got so much just knowledge as well. But when I think of a home, it's the energy that goes into that. And I'm really big into energy. I'm really big into the whole experience. And it's where your family creates memories. And,
absolutely.
One of the things I've said to my husband several times is we have nothing but good energy in this home. Nothing but good energy, from the people that we worked with to the people that come into our home to the things that we do in our home. It's a very sacred, special thing. And to be a part of that for someone, like you said, to make them smile, to make them happy, to help them, whether it's a 1,200 square foot home or whether it's a 12,000 square foot home, it really doesn't matter. It's special, and it's really
it's exactly
unique.
what is catered to them. That's what makes new home construction so neat, is it's catered to each individual in a lot of ways. And even if it's a production home, it's still something you can add your personal taste to. And I love that. I like that. Everybody is an individual, and you should be able to have it exactly the way you like it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And let me tell you, if you haven't had something exactly the way you like it, you're going to get used to it, and you're not going to want it any other way.
That's right.
You're just not going to want it any other way, and you can do it. And I think sometimes people are they're just scared. They're scared because they don't think that it's something they could really do. And a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I'm just so busy. And so it's until somebody points these facts out, that it took my husband, thank you so much, honey, for pointing these facts out to me. And I stopped and I listened. But, I want to know, and I want you to share with people, once the contract has been signed, what can people expect? What's that experience going to be like?
Well, I try really hard to make sure that they give me a construction schedule so that I can find out what they're going to be doing and when they're going to be doing it. And then I take pictures along the way. So if you can't be there, then you can also have the pictures to see the progress that's going on. And then I help keep the builder, even though they don't appreciate it, on task. So if they've given me a schedule and say we're going to be doing, we're grading the lot right now. We're going to be putting in plumbing and getting ready for foundation. Then we're going to be going to foundation. Then we're going to be pouring. All of those things are happening in a time frame, and so barring weather, of course, I know how that works as well. I make sure that that's what they're doing, and I check on that house usually daily or every other day to see if they're doing what they said they're going to be doing. So instead of them telling you, let's say you're getting out of an apartment in 6 months and you need to be in that house in 6 months and 1 day, and now all of a sudden the construction schedule has moved itself to 8 months. Well, that just screwed you up pretty bad, because a lot of apartments aren't going to be very forgiving about that. So I'm the one that keeps them on task so that we know that it's in front of them at all times. Here's what's going on. I do a walk with the builder all the time. I check to see when I ask when they're having their inspections, and then I go through and see if we got a red tag or a green tag. If it is a red tag, I want to know what's on it, and then I go down and talk to the city inspector and ask him if there's anything he needs to know, or if there's anything I should know to make sure that it's handled. So, I'm involved in every part of the process. So because we were builders, we get that involved with it.
Right. And that's what I was going to say is, to me, with the experience of being a builder yourself, and you and your husband doing so much new home construction, you just have a wealth of information and knowledge that most realtors don't have. And
That's right.
and it's one of the reasons why, I picked the realtor that I did, but you weren't. You were really focusing on commercial real estate at the time, and because of the new home
Right.
construction building,
Sure.
it's important. But I also know something that's really important to you, as well as having fun. And one of the things that we do on our show quite frequently is we have a laughter is the best medicine segment. And the reason we do that is because laughter truly is the best medicine. In life, you are going to have curve balls thrown at you, and it's not if, it's just when. You're going to have things that happen to you that you weren't expecting. Again, it's not if, it's just when. And when those things happen, and hopefully even when those things aren't happening, you realize that you've got to laugh. You've got to smile. You have to have a good time, and you have to take things in stride. And honestly, that's one of the things I love about you, Suzanne. You've got this energy, you've got this heart, you are so fun. You love life and you love laughing, and I love laughing as well. So one of the things I do is I say, hey, to the guests, do you have a laughter is the best medicine video?
Of course.
And of course you do. You actually,
course I do.
you actually came on before, and she did another Ron White video, and I want to
Yeah.
say, and I'm really excited about it. Ron White, we love you. He didn't kick us off last time. Hopefully, he won't kick us off this time. But here is our laughter is the best medicine video for today.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Sit down, shut up. Let's get on with this thing, man. I had a great year last year. I got married last year to Barbara, my wife, a wonderful woman. And, Barbara's my age. I didn't marry a kid, I married somebody that really stimulates me intellectually. Very smart girl, 2 degrees, great business head. Now, she's also very sexy. She's a beautiful woman. But if I could give advice to the planet, it would be don't marry for looks alone. Go in either way. And I'll tell you why. In a few years, if Barbara's boobs start to sag too much, there's a place you can go where they can just lift them right back up where they were, and they can move the nipple wherever they want them. You can actually go to a titty bar, pick out a set of titties, and say, I want those titties on that woman right there. If her belly gets too big and she doesn't want to work it off, you can go get a tummy tuck. They'll give you a belly looks like a cheerleader. If your eyes go bad, you can have LASIK surgery and they can give you 20/20 vision at any age. If your hearing starts to fail, they could put a device in your ear that'll make you able to hear as good as you could the day you were born. But let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid. There's not a pill you can take. There's not a class you can go to. Stupid is forever.
And there you go. You can't fix stupid.
No.
We were just sitting there talking, laughing that you can fix just about anything, but that's something that you can't fix. And we're so excited because Ron White's actually going to be up in Oklahoma on January 1st at the WinStar. And if you notice, he only does one show a night because he said, look, if you want him, you better come to one show because he's not going to be sober for the second show. That's all there is to it.
That's good enough.
And I will say, Ron White knows a thing or two about real estate.
He probably does.
He's had so many wives. He has sold so many homes.
I'm sure he has.
He's bought in so many homes. And I'm telling you, it is a complete joy to have you on the show, Suzanne. It's a complete joy to have you in my life.
Well, thank you for having me.
And everything that you do, you bring so much just greatness to everything that you do. You really do. And I know I'm going to be harping on this for probably months and years to come. If you're in a situation where financially you want to be in a better situation because you want to do more, I promise you this is an option you really need to look into. So we thank you so much for coming. We thank you so much for being big and bold and just striving to be the best version of yourself. If there's anything that we can do to help make your journey better, please let us know. If you have an Ask Jen's question, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're interested in appearing on the show, please hit me up as well. We are always interested in doing more for you. So until we meet again, be big, be bold, and most importantly, be you. Bye-bye.